Welcome to Graybo's Giblets. We are Gray Burnett, Ryan Fitz, and Duke Dotson. We own a sports card shop called Graybo Sports Cards and a sports bar called Parlay in Richmond, Virginia. We know you don't have 40 hours a week to pour over podcasts and spreadsheets, but we want to get in. You want to get in on the action, so we do the work for you. We bring you 30-minute giblets each week so you can feel good heading up to the window and into the weekend. We are the crossroads of sports lovers, fantasy heads, sports betting, and sports cards. We are out here dropping giblets for the people, and it is here. The Final Four National Championship preview show with my man, Dennyonetime. What's up, Denny? We ready to get into it as Matt Dodd walks through the door, firefighter of the year over there. Very excited. And we have all four number ones for the first time since 2008. Same city, 2008 San Antonio, 2025 San Antonio. And let's talk about it a little bit. So Sweet 16 and Elite 8, Denny, what were your takes on that?
The tournament's always fun. I would say the lack of upsets this year were kind of a bummer. The chalkiness led to me getting kind of blocked out of a lot of our pools that call for a little bit of chaos. The two games that really hurt us were Maryland hitting that shot over Colorado State. We needed Maryland to lose that game. And then Texas Tech blowing their lead against Florida was a heartbreaker. You'll hear my Final Four picks in a second. I would have had a perfect bracket if Texas Tech had held off, and we probably would be winning that survivor pool, the big survivor pool, if Texas Tech had held on. I'm a Duke fan, so that's fun having Duke in the mix and being a favorite to win. But I would say it's a bit of a bummer with how rounds 1 and 2 played out, and then it's been all chalk from there.
Really, yeah, chalk. That's what I have. It, like you said, it could have broken some different ways. We need some more drama. I love the tournament. Like this, of course, I'm gonna say it was great, but Arkansas blew it against Texas Tech. Then you have Texas Tech blows it against Florida. Florida could have lost to UConn. There were so many ways where there could have been some upsets where we had some drama and some different teams in the Elite Eight and Final Four. Then you get to the Elite Eight and it's like Duke blows out Bama. Houston looked unstoppable against Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee shot the ball very poorly. Florida, unbelievable comeback against Texas Tech. That was the best game. And then Auburn pretty much controlled Michigan State. They only won by like 6 or 8, but they controlled them for the most part. So we have our Final Four: Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn. And we'll talk about that in just a second, but I got 2 trivia questions for you.
I'm ready.
The first one is, there were 2 players who are in the Final Four now that were also part of another team that went on a Final Four run with a different team a couple years ago. One was last year and another one was 2 years ago.
All right. So 2 players on one of these 4 teams that were in the Final Four last year on different teams.
Yes, last year on a different team and the year before that.
Woo, okay. So I'm going through the Duke roster. I don't see anybody. Where did Sion James transfer from?
Tulane.
Okay, wasn't him. So let's go to Houston, Florida, Auburn. Janai Broome played for Morehead State, so they didn't go to the Final Four.
And if you want hints, I'll give you the teams.
All right, give me the hints.
There is one on Duke.
All right, Cooper's a freshman. Knipple's a freshman. Maliwak's a freshman. Sion James, we just talked about.
He's a huge role player. Should get more minutes, in my opinion.
It's not Gillis. It's not.
You sure about that?
Is it Gillis?
Purdue.
Oh, he played for Purdue.
Gillis was on Purdue with E last year. Started.
Okay.
Actually came off the bench in the tournament, but he started a lot of games for them.
Okay.
In Purdue. And then the second one is Florida. Think about that 2 years ago was the crazy run, a lot of upsets.
That was FAU and San Diego State?
Yeah.
One of them played for San Diego State. FAU,
who's now in Florida.
It's not Walter Clayton.
It's not Clayton. He's Iona. It's so many people, so many guys now that have transferred in.
Wow. I'm trying to think who transferred from Florida that I would know where they. I don't know. Who is it?
Elijah Martin.
Really?
Martin was a starter of Florida Atlantic.
Oh, for
He was
FAU.
the
Okay.
second best player with the Davis kid who went
Okay.
to Arkansas.
Okay.
But you said San Diego State. The other kid, the other guard, Boyd, transferred to San Diego State. Which is funny.
Wow.
So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because before that, there's only been 2 other guys ever in the history of college basketball
To make the Final Four?
To make the Final Four and then make it with another team.
Wow.
So
you know who are they? Do you know?
I don't have no idea.
You know? Okay.
Just 2. I didn't recognize their names at all.
Wow.
So I thought that was crazy. First time since 2008 Final Four that we've had all chalk. And the 2008 Final Four all 1 seeds were incredible.
Yeah.
Do you remember who they were and who won the national championship?
In 2008?
2008.
I do know this. You ready?
This is the one I thought you would know.
It was Carolina. UCLA.
Yeah. They both lost in the Final Four.
Memphis,
D. Rose,
and Kansas.
And then Mario Chalmers in the corner.
Hit the shot
in the corner
to tie the game.
To
go into overtime, and they won by 7. I knew that because it's been said a lot lately, and then I actually looked up again today because I asked Tim the same question earlier.
That's hilarious. Who did Kansas beat in the Elite Eight by 2 just to make the Final Four? It was a 10 seed. And their star player is pretty good now. He's a top 10 player in the NBA.
John Morant.
No.
Who? Who was it?
Curry.
Oh, he played. Davidson was a 10 seed. Yeah.
Only lost by 2 to Kansas. Yeah. An incredible run by Davidson. But that Final Four was incredible. And we should have a good one here. Hopefully this Final Four kind of saves the tournament.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. And talk about the first game that is coming up 6:09, April 5th on Saturday. Florida -2.5 against the Auburn Tigers. The Tigers are trotting out. They play about 7 guys. They're trotting out Cardwell, Kelly, Denver Jones, Broom, and Baker Mazzara are usually the starters. The sensational freshman Pettiford comes off the bench, and then Chaney Johnson getting great minutes for them. Especially when Broom or Cardwell get in foul trouble. I really like Chaney Johnson if you're playing DraftKings lineups this weekend, especially with Broom hurt. Who knows his status? And Cardwell does get in foul trouble a lot. So we'll see what Auburn can do there. With Florida, you got the Chanilu guy from Washington State. But I believe Thomas Howe is going to start in this game over him because he's a shooter and they're going to need shooting because they're not going to be able to get to the rim against Auburn. The Will Richard kid, Martin, Clayton, and Condon, and then Aberdeen and the Henleganten kid from Marshall comes off the bench. So they play about 8 guys. So when you look at these 2 teams, Florida is a little bit deeper, in my opinion. Florida has beat Auburn twice in the regular season, once at Auburn without Martin. Is Broom healthy? Is a question. And will Auburn have an answer for Clayton? Is my questions here. I like Florida to win this game, but I think I'm going to bet Auburn and take the points. It is hard to beat a team 3 times. Auburn has looked better, in my opinion, in this tournament. Against Michigan being down 9 with about 12 minutes in the second half, to go on that incredible run. I really like this Auburn team to maybe get past the Gators this round. I'll also go back to Florida. Maybe should have lost to UConn and probably should have lost to Texas Tech. Like, credit to them, but maybe shouldn't be here. So thoughts on this game and who stands out to you, and are you taking a stand on anybody?
I think it's tough. It's a really tough game to bet. I think Janai Broom's health matters. I think they can be very competitive without him or without him full speed. When he got hurt last week, your first instinct was, oh man, he's done. He was walking off the floor and the coach said, you okay? He said no, pretty ominously, right? And then the next thing you know, he's back in the game. He hits a 3. Be it there wasn't a play that required a lot of mobility. He just slowly came off a screen, hit an open 3. You can do that with a bad foot. Can you play a whole game with a bad knee or ankle? I don't even know what it is. Is it knee or ankle?
I think it's a little bit of everything.
He landed on his ankle weird, but
it definitely was his elbow.
His elbow as well,
His elbow, and then he rolled. I think he hyperextended it.
The way he landed, it looked like it was his ankle, but hyperextended his knee. So, I think he's a tough kid. I think he'll play. He'll play well. Will he be 100%? Probably not. I'm with you. The Florida's had two bigger scares. They've arguably played the worst of the 4 1 seeds, despite being a lot of people's favorite to win it when the tournament started. I think I'm with you. Like I've got 2 big futures on Auburn. I will tell you, I cashed one out this morning, and if they beat Florida, I'm going to cash the other one out before they play Duke. Assuming they play Duke. But if you put a gun to my head, I'm going to take Auburn in the points, and I'm not going to take the money line. I think I'm going to take the points.
I like that. I have, out of the 4 teams, I have 3 preseason futures. And the only preseason feature I don't have is Duke.
The favorite.
And of course, they're going to ruin everything.
Yeah.
Because they are unbelievable right now. But my biggest future is on Florida, so I hope they get it done. That's kind of why I'm leaning to Auburn. In the points here, I might take Auburn money line too, just to hedge a little bit more, because I do have a pretty big ticket on Florida. So,
a lot of teams have had scares in the tournament and gone on to win it, so it doesn't mean they're ruled out. I don't think they're clicking on all cylinders, and they can't keep relying on this late run like Clayton and the Hawk kid, like unbelievable shooting down the stretch to win that game.
All had 2 huge threes.
Yeah.
And Clayton hit the 3rd one to tie it up.
Yeah.
Texas Tech misses 2 front ends of a 1-and-1. They make one of those, you're looking at a different story.
Yeah.
And we're sitting pretty in Survivor.
I know.
And just to talk about our Survivor.
Oh God,
man, we have no chance. We have 2 brackets left, but we have no chance of winning because it's so chalky.
Normally at this point in this pool, there'll be like 7 to 10 teams left, 10 brackets left. Right. This year there's like 125.
So, yeah.
It's so chalky.
Same in the one that I'm doing. What's cool with mine, though, is there's about 20 people left, and they have so many different combinations.
Right.
There's only one person with 3 of the teams left.
Right.
Everyone else has 2.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of Houston. You're going to see a lot of Duke being used to just try to advance.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of Florida and a lot of Auburn, and it's just going to be like, what combination is going to get you there?
Yeah.
All right. And the best one, I think, right now, just based on the eye test, is Auburn, and then taking Duke in the championship.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to get different, that's the way to get different. There are a lot of people that think Houston is the second best team left right now, and it's going to give Duke the biggest trouble. You're going to hear my take on the Duke game in a second, but I just feel like the way to get different is Auburn over Florida.
I just saw your note.
Yeah.
Suck it, Stucky.
Yeah.
Crazy story about his wife.
Yeah.
With the guy.
In the backyard.
In the backyard.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And he was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Anyway, seems like we were on the same page of Florida maybe advancing here. So let's get into what a lot of people are saying. This could be the national championship. Probably Duke's toughest opponent when it comes to their offense, playing against a half-court defense like Houston's. Houston is going to use that bully ball. Are they going to be strong? They're going to hopefully can keep Duke off the glass, force them into some threes where they're contesting these threes and Duke's missing.
Yeah.
But if Duke is on, they're in trouble. And so at 8:49, you have Houston versus Duke. Houston, anywhere I'm seeing 5.5.
Yeah, I've seen
getting 5.5. I'm going to say it's more 4.5.
Yeah.
But I saw DraftKings go back up to 5.5. Let's look at the lineups real quick. Duke starting the same 5 guys. We got Mr. Khan, Flag, Zion James from Tulane, Proctor, and Mallet. And then they bring 4 guys off the bench for 5 or 6 minutes here and there. They do their job. They know what they're supposed to do. The Foster kid is kind of like the backup point guard and can get to the rim. They bring in Isaiah Evans, who was a top 50 recruit who can shoot. Mason Gillis is one of the best role players in all of college basketball. Malik Brown can defend anybody. So I think he's going to be a big deal. If he's healthy, he's going to play more minutes guarding Cryer. He can make Cryer turn Cryer over and not let Cryer shoot will be a huge thing for Duke. And then their backup center, Ngangba, will get a couple minutes if anybody gets in foul trouble up front. Houston, also pretty deep, and that's why these have been the best 4 teams all year. Roberts, who seems like he's been there for 6 years, 7 years. Tugler, Uzon from Oklahoma, L.J. Cryer, and Sharp are the starters. And then they'll bring in Malik Wilson, Terrence Arsenault, and Javier Francis off the bench, and they will get solid minutes because Sampson is one of those coaches where Houston plays so hard that they foul all the freaking time. And if you have 2 fouls in the first half, you're done. You're not playing again until the second half, which can be trouble for them. So let's kind of break this down. I'll start with you. Give me your take on this game, who's winning, and maybe Duke wins, but you have Houston points.
Yeah, so the Sharps I listen to and like and respect are all on Houston and the points. When they do their math and play with their spreadsheets, it comes out, take Houston and the points. I'm on the other side of it. I think just almost as strongly as I felt about UConn in previous years, I feel that Duke's the best team and they're going to find a way to pull away. They don't rely on any one person. If Cooper's not scoring, 3 other guys can do it. If anybody gets in foul trouble, next guy up is not much of a step back. Like you mentioned, Nongba, he's not Maluak, but he didn't put him in a bad spot when he has to come in. I think other teams, every team that they could play remaining, foul trouble worries the other team more than it troubles Duke. You know, I've seen games when Nongba and Maluak get in foul trouble and they're fine. Like they figure it out. I think Houston provides probably the toughest matchup of the 3 remaining opponents. Potential opponents, but I just think Duke is too good. I think their first team is better than everybody else's first team. I think their second team is better than everybody else's second team. And so it's not that they couldn't lose to any of these teams. I just don't see it happening. So I am laying the points. I got them at 4.5, so I'm going to lay 4.5. I like them better at 4.5 than 5.5. But if there was a bet out there where I could say Duke wins both games by double digits, I would make that bet.
Everyone's saying the UConn that's just going to roll past. I hope that's not the case. I hope this is a great Final Four and it's close. Both games close, national championship close. And I hope Duke loses. I hope Duke loses. And I don't usually say that because I like rooting for Duke. And this is one of probably my favorite Duke teams to root for. I have here good versus evil and Duke being the good team. Like you don't really see that. I like this Duke team. They're very likable. Whereas Houston, I just say that I like them too. I just say that they're evil because of the style they play, right?
Yeah.
It's very rough. They're gonna knock you around. They're gonna knock some Duke players down. How is Duke gonna respond to that? These are the top 2 teams in my opinion. I think this is gonna be a bloodbath, and it is gonna be played in the half court. You're not gonna see anything in transition. Duke's gonna be very comfortable with that. Houston, is not the greatest of offensive teams. They're going to have to make shots.
I think that's the difference. Yeah. I think is Houston scoring on Duke is going to be different. I think Duke's going to provide too many problems for them to score.
I agree. And, Duke's going to let Houston shoot those threes. Well, they'll contest them. Duke's very good at contesting threes as well. And even when Houston's not getting contested looks, they're very streaky. So Cryer and Uzon and Sharp are going to have to shoot lights out. And how does Houston score a lot? Second chance points. Going to be very hard for them, but also very hard for Duke. Duke's going to have to make shots too. You're not going to get anything to the rim on Houston. I just think Proctor and Kahn are better shooters than Cryer and Uzon and Sharp.
Yeah.
And so I think they have good shooting nights. It's lights out for Houston. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is a good game. It comes down to the wire, and Houston can get it done. A lot of people are picking Houston to win this. I'm with you. I'm going to take Duke in the points, -4.5. It's with gut. It's eye test.
Yeah.
It's not, don't get cute.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you see what these guys can do. Cooper Flagg is a generational talent, and he's likable, man. He just makes everyone on the court better.
Yeah. I can see a scenario where Cooper Flagg scores 8 points and they win by 10.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
8 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists.
Yeah.
And does the little things.
Proctor can get hot from the outside. He's done it all tournament, and he can shoot the mid-range jumper. And then Knipple can score 1,000 ways. And he's aggressive. Like Knipple can be out of the game, out of the flow for 10 minutes. He gets the ball and he takes it to the hole. He can shoot a 3. He can do a lot of things. Maluak 7'2", just can contest everything.
You won't get anything
Yeah.
at the rim against him.
Yeah.
What's great about Khan is Shire knows this too. Flag off or they're double teaming flag. They have so many sets for Khan to
Yeah.
get open and shoot. He'll go right to him.
Sure.
He'll say, Cooper, like you're like my 1A.
Yeah.
But we got 1B over here.
Yeah.
And Khan is just as good. That guy is very good.
Yeah.
And I think I was listening to another pod, and Houston is a lot smaller than Duke. I think Khan is like 6'5".
Yeah.
Where the three guards of Houston are like 6'1", 6'3".
Yeah, that's a problem.
The smallest guy on Duke's 6'5".
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they're long.
So very long. Going to be hard for Houston. Duke has to have a bad shooting night for Houston to win, in my opinion, because Houston can keep them off the glass. They can keep them to one and done and hopefully make some shots. Houston also has to keep this game under 70 points.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And if they do that, I think we have a game. But that's a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page, and I like it. We got Auburn plus 2.5, Duke minus 4.5. Let's kind of talk about our Final Four that we had. I'm 2 for 4, so I had Auburn and Duke in. I had Texas Tech. That's where I had Texas Tech and Tennessee. It's kind of where I got different. I really like my picks, except for the Tennessee pick. After watching Houston, that was a mistake. But I was right there with Texas Tech. I really was. And I had Auburn over Duke in the championship. I'm going to flip-flop that. Take Duke over Auburn will be my prediction for this Final Four. Denny, you have 3 out of the 4. Texas Tech, you should have 4 out of the 4.
I know.
And then in your predictions pre-tournament, had Duke over Auburn. Does it still stand that way?
Yeah, I'm staying with that. You know, if Texas Tech had beat Florida, you and I'd be wealthy between the survivor pool and every other bracket that I'm in. That Texas Tech, that was my difference maker. Texas Tech over Florida, and I was heartbroken that they didn't hold on. But yeah, I'd still, based on what we said today, give me Duke over Auburn.
Yeah, so like more that I think about it, I was here at Parlay and Fitz was yelling at me, "Why are you rooting for Florida?" Like I got caught up in the crowd.
Yeah,
everyone in the crowd's rooting for this comeback. I have a big ticket on Florida. I'm like, I also had a ticket on Texas Tech Final Four, and
you
probably
did
won some money on Survivor.
Yeah,
if Texas Tech gets some.
He was texting me that you're openly rooting against us. I'm like, he's too drunk to know what he's rooting for. So it's fine.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So preseason futures. Just to kind of recap. So I had Iowa State, Baylor, national championship tickets. Obviously, they're gone. My Final Four tickets were Illinois, A&M, Maryland, Clemson, Texas Tech, all gone. But I have 3 preseason futures. Houston, 16-1. They're still there. Auburn, 28-1. They're still there. Florida's my big one at 45-1. They're still there. The one team I don't have is frickin' Duke. Give me something that I should do. What should I do? Because I know Duke's going to win this.
Look at your. I would just add up the 3 numbers you have bet on Florida, Auburn, and Houston, and just bet that on Duke, which is basically even money right now. So you get out of it with a break even.
Okay.
I mean, you can bet more if you want. I mean, I would look at like all 3 outcomes: Florida, Auburn, and Houston. What do you stand to win? And if you want to bet like 1x or 2x your total bets on Duke, that way you're locking in a profit.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm going to do because I don't feel confident. Duke is that good. There's a lot of years where I'm like, I'm not afraid of this one team that I don't know.
Right.
I'm afraid of Duke.
Yeah.
And speaking of Duke, that's your name.
Yep.
You had 2 Auburn futures, and you cashed one out.
So the plan is, I looked at 2 of them. I cashed one out this morning. That was one I had at 18-1, so it cashed out at like 2x. It wasn't great. The other one I have at 11-1 or 12-1, and it's really at like 1.3x. So I'm not cashing that one out. I mean, I'm just hoping Auburn beats Florida, and if it's Auburn versus Duke, I'm going to cash that one out, and I may put a little something more on Duke to win it from now. Just give me something so that way I can just openly just root for Duke and be fine with it.
All right. Last thing on last, there to a lot of guys in our Survivor League probably listen to this podcast. There's about 20 left in mine. What would be your strategy if you had Auburn and Houston left?
I think I would. That's a good question. Because you're like, okay, if Houston can beat Duke, and Auburn can beat Florida, then who would win? That's the outcome I haven't really thought about much. I think I would take Houston over Auburn. I think, but that's tough. So I would take Auburn now, Houston later.
Auburn now and hope to Houston. I think I would do the opposite. I think I would risk it. Just hopefully Houston can get there.
If Broom wasn't hurt, I would definitely take Auburn over Houston. Okay. But with just that little dinging up, he's got to play 2 games. That scares me a little.
He couldn't even, I don't know. He can be dramatic at times.
Yeah.
But it looked he wasn't even moving it.
Yeah.
His I don't know if it was his left or right.
I think it's his off arm.
He was not even moving it. All right. Well, there it is, man.
March Madness, baby.
Short but sweet because it's the Final Four, last college basketball podcast of the year. We have Duke winning it all. We have Auburn getting past Florida. So take the plus 2.5, take Duke minus 4.5, and let's win some money this weekend.
Take Conca-Nipple, points plus rebounds over, whatever it is. If you can bet props in your state, we can't. Just take Conca-Nipple, points plus rebounds over.
You get to Colonial Beach and do it?
You can definitely bet Virginia schools. I don't know if you can do college props.
Well,
let's just go and find out.
Do it.
Okay, I'll see you there tomorrow.
All right. That's going to be it. Enjoy your Final Four Saturday and your national championship Monday here at Parlay. We will be open. I will be here. Come say hey. And it's National Beer Day. Beer or beard? Beer.
Okay. I can't grow a beard yet. Giblets.